That right there is the sound of success. I made homemade red wine, and you can too. Hey everyone, welcome to the Burnt Brass Homestead channel. I made homemade red wine using just 2 ingredients: grapes harvested from the homestead and cane sugar. This whole process started on September 5th. All of the ripened grapes were harvested from the garden. There were not many, as this was only the 2nd year since the vines were planted. And although we got a small amount, it turned out to be very rewarding. These are the grapes that my husband harvested from the garden. They are seeded grapes. I ran a little water over them to remove any debris. But you really do not want to wash the grapes because they have natural yeast, wild yeast, that will allow me to make this wine without adding any additional yeast. And because there aren't many red grapes, I am combining some of the white grapes to make this wine. This is about 4 cups of grapes. I mashed them with a potato masher, or better yet, you can use your hands, but you want to squeeze out as much juice as possible. To start the process of making the wine without adding additional yeast, I must first allow the natural yeast on the surface of the grapes to multiply. To do this, I covered the dish with 2 layers of cheesecloth to keep out bugs and to allow oxygen to permeate the cloth 24 to 48 hours. Because there are so few grapes, I left the grapes in this wide container to allow as much surface area for the yeast to be exposed to oxygen. Tiny bubbles will start to form around the edge of the container after several hours. This is a good thing. I then transferred the grapes to a half-gallon mason jar, added another half cup of sugar, 3 cups of water, then covered again with cheesecloth. Tiny bubbles forming around the edge of the jar let me know that the fermentation process was working. From there, I removed the cheesecloth and added an airlock lid. But I should have filtered the grapes at this point, then added the airlock lid. Unfortunately, my plans of coming back to do that were sidetracked. In the end, I left the grapes in the container just like this for 4 months. However, if you are following this process, this is the point where you want to filter out any of the grape solids, leaving only the grape juice. Then place an airlock lid on top. This is the step where you no longer want oxygen to enter the jar, but you want air to escape the jar as needed, hence the purpose of the airlock lids. However, if you do not have an airlock lid, don't worry. Instead, you can cut a hole in the lid of the jar containing the wine, insert a tube, then the other end of the tube should be placed in another jar containing water. You can cut holes in the jar containing the water to insert the other end of the tube, or just tape it down. Just make sure the water jar is not airtight. Only the wine jar should be airtight to not allow oxygen in. The tubes must always be submerged beneath the water. The purpose of this is to allow air to escape from the jar containing the wine, but not allow oxygen to enter it. This is what I came back to 4 months later. There is a little residue on the surface, but this can be scraped off. However, I poured off the wine using a filter to remove any of the grape solids. I then poured the wine into this very fine fabric mesh to filter all other small particles. This is what it looked like after all of the filtering was complete. The wine was really good. I do plan on making more wine next year. I am looking forward to a bigger grape harvest with each year to come. However, I plan on experimenting with other fruits to make wine next year in addition to making more grape wine. Other fruits that I am interested in making wine with next year are figs, blueberries, apples, and blackberries. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing and giving this and other videos a thumbs up to help this channel to grow.